Brooklyn Swirl, Gene Alert's own smoothie shop. Today I'm sitting down with Gene as well as the other writers for the new book, Single Man, Married Man. Do real relationships really work? Let's get their take. You all are the writers of Single Man, Married Man that hit stores February 10th. The cover looks great, the press has been great. I see you guys are getting a lot of brand placement and the books all around town, and you guys are all in the magazines and the newspapers, and I see you guys on Fox 5 News, so I can definitely see that people are definitely excited about the new book coming to stores, hitting their local bookstores, so I can just say congratulations to you guys. Single Man, Married Man, what is this book actually about?
It's about a collective getting inside the minds of married men, single men, divorced men, and actually letting men speak freely about relationships.
Okay.
You know, we've never had that voice. So it's always catered to either by women telling other women how men should be, or it's successful celebrity men telling women how to act like us, you know? So,
right.
You know, this is more of a regular, real men coming together, interviewed a bunch of guys, and answering questions from women. These are actual questions from women.
Okay.
That we're the burning questions.
I think this is very similar to a woman being a fly on the wall in a barbershop. So in barbershops, we talk about sports and politics and what such and such had on at the Grammys last night, but we get into our relationships and what we think and what we feel. So, this is probably as accurate to that as possible for a woman to be able to see that, where she probably doesn't have normal access to that. This is probably that.
And for you as a married man, I do have to ask, was it easy writing your portion of the book?
Yeah. Because when you write it with a particular style in mind, I think that's what makes it difficult. Or when you write it, I don't want to offend anybody, that's what makes it difficult. But this was like a straight talk, no holds barred, tell it the way it is, tell women what they need to hear. Not necessarily what they want to hear, but women seem to have all of the questions these days. Where's all the good guys? Why do guys do this? Why don't guys do this? You really want to know? Here's the answer.
It's from our experiences, so it can't go wrong there, brutally honest, just this is what we've been through and we're sharing it with you so you don't have to go through it. We went through it and we trying to make you avoid making the mistakes that other people made, so it's like a stop sign.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I saw that there were also so many other books about single people, married people, divorced people, mad people, crazy people. How does this book stand out amongst the others?
You get the different angles from so many different perspectives, so it's not just like one voice. And then for each group of voices, you have it's additional like 100 or so opinions, so collectively this is like the general senses of what this particular group thinks, so you definitely get the wide range, no holds bar, true approach to it, like you said, it's like being a fly on the wall. It's like getting into the man cave, during like a town hall meeting of just men.
The divorce rate in America is at 50%. How do you want this book to change that number?
I think the book, like Gene said, is a collective of the 8 different personalities. And I think each one of us brings something so unique and vital to relationships as a whole. I think that the book itself, after the ladies read it and dive into it, and different people are obviously going to relate to different authors in the book. But I think collectively, we're going to open dialogues and relationships that will eventually strengthen, because I, for one, truly believe that communication is number one in any relationship, friendship, marriage, business relationship, any relationship that you're looking to build successfully.
Chapter 9 speaks of, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Tell me, how do you continue to compliment your significant other or your spouse while still not trying to change them?
Well, it's funny, before I get into that, when she was my fiance, one of the things we would do is we would ask married couples for non-cliche advice. And we created a file of all of these pieces of advice and we stick to them. However, a lot of the cliches are actually the best advice. And just piggybacking your question, the whole choose your battles. You hear that all the time, choose your battle, but you really can't argue and fight and debate every single thing. Certain things are kind of like, let me leave that alone. That doesn't even matter. I'll give you an example. My wife, I love you, baby. My wife, she does not dry her feet when she gets out of the shower, right? So the mat is wet. So she leaves the house, I get in there with my socks afterwards and I'm stepping in. I dry my feet before I get out of the shower. I'm not gonna beef with her about that. It's kind of annoying, but there's other things we can worry about. It's not that big of a deal. So in that instance, I'm not going to necessarily try to change that about her, because that has nothing to do with the fabric of our friendship, with the fabric of our relationship. That's some ancillary item. But when it comes down to nitty gritty things, a lot of that stuff should have been ironed out as you were establishing a friendship. And if things come up later that you didn't necessarily know about, there is a way to talk about it without necessarily beefing or trying to change the person. A lot of times you have to reach a happy medium. So, you know, in answering your question about if it ain't broke, don't fix it, a lot of things, most of the things that couples beef about, when it gets down to the bottom, don't really matter. And then the things that do really matter, you don't have to argue about.
Junior, for you, times have surely changed now. We no longer live in a society where we have single parent, you know, father going out to work, mother staying home. You know, now we have two parents going out in the home. How does this impact the relationship in any way?
Well, me and my wife, we don't have kids, but we've been married for 5 years, going on 6. But I feel it goes right back to that whole communication thing. You know, if you create this, you know, the communication and the boundaries, and not even boundaries, but you're talking about it. You know, you figure out what is going to happen. You know, like, for example, me and my wife, our babies are our businesses. So, like, Brooklyn Swirl is our business. It's our baby. You know, so we create, this is what you're going to do, and this is what I'm going to do. And it's like, it sort of organically happened, but at the same time we communicated and we got it where it's correct. I handle all the marketing, she handles all the behind the scenes things. So it's like that balance, but it works together. You know, and that's that whole partnership thing. So once you have it doesn't matter if it's baby or a business or whatever, it's that communication, that partner. So if you have a partner and a real partnership, you're always gonna make it work, regardless of if it's kids, business, whatever it is, you know. So, but you have to communicate. You know, me and my wife, we speak at least 7-8 times a day. You know, I was reading.
Texting?
No, phone.
Mm-hmm.
We'll spend, and when I get home, you know, we'll speak for another 3-4 hours. You know, so our communication.
I see it all the time.
They know.
Absolutely.
So, you know, communication to me is a big part. You know, because I want to make sure I'm clear, and you make sure, you know, she wants to make sure she's clear. Because there's never a point where we're like, oh, I didn't know. You know, that won't happen in our house. You know, because we're on top of it.
What do people even look for in a spouse? What is that niche that truly ties them together?
Well, for me, I'm a single father. My daughter's 14 years old. She's actually going to be 15 next month.
Nice.
So one of the most important things for me in looking for a mate or my next wife, if you will, because I'm definitely not against marriage just because I'm a divorced man. But what I'm looking for is, number one, obviously somebody who could be that maternal figure or that female figure, because she's already 15, be that female figure rather for my daughter. As far as, you know, being ambitious, being independent, being somebody who carries himself in class, and you know, somebody who truly values themselves, and it shows. You know, they exude that confidence and the value that they have in themselves. So for me, it's really about finding somebody who complements me at the point of my life where I am right now. I think that marriage is one of the most beautiful things when two people are that committed to each other to where they want to share their lives and build a future and grow together. I think it's one of the most amazing things.
I believe in things happen naturally instead of forcing it, like going to a club to meet a woman. Like, I'm not into that, you know what I mean? So with me, I usually meet the women in my life naturally.
What's
like,
naturally?
Naturally, I could get introduced to somebody. You know, I could bump into somebody in the streets where I drop my books and I'm like, oh, sorry, and I meet them that way, you know, but it has to be like something divine, you know.
Scanning the book, searching the book, I came across the topic of truth. Is it safe to tell, you know, do they really want to know the truth? And you all kind of had your own snapshot that you all provided on that topic as to Should I tell? Does it protect you if you don't? Do they really want to know? Do they want to know the specifics? They want to know the specifics, but they really don't want to know the specifics. Give me in just 30 seconds, starting with you, Frank. Is telling the truth the best way? Go. 28.
Yes and no. I mean, it depends on the lie. You know, there's some such things as small lies. And sometimes telling the truth can do way more harm than good. When it was an instance where it's like just to avoid conflict, you might tell a lie. You know, it might not be nothing malicious you did. It's just, you know, I know I had 12 hours of work. You know, I know if I say this, it's going to lead into a 2-hour conversation I don't want to have, so I'm going to omit it.
Got you.
So, you know.
My belief is that lies are always going to surface. So it's always better to probably be honest from the get-go and get into that confrontation. If it's going to lead to a confrontation, get it out of the way. Again, communication.
Lies or what you don't tell?
No, lies.
Lies. Okay.
Absolutely.
It's from my experience, it's better just to tell the truth anyway, because it's going to haunt you, especially being married. You live with the person, so eventually you're going to slip or something's going to happen, and you want to go to bed. You sleep with that person every night, so you just want to go to bed clear conscious, wake up clear conscious. So I would say just tell the truth. What's going to happen is happen, and you're bound by God anyway, so you're really lying to God. So that's the whole thing about marriage. You know, it's not about you and the person. It's you and the commitment to God. So
Yeah, I believe with my brothers, you know, from the get-go, tell the truth. Tell the truth. That's the foundation. Because everything done in the dark will one day come to light. So spare yourself the expense, you know what I mean? Just keep it real, tell the truth.
I think truth is the best policy, especially when you're asked a question.
Mm-hmm.
However, if you're not asked a question and you can omit something that doesn't really matter, but you know it's going to cause a problem, it's like when you tell kids, do I need to tell my kids Santa Claus really doesn't exist? You know, maybe I could just leave that alone and he'll find it. It's one of those types of deals. Mm-hmm. The kid's not going to be in ruins when he finds out, when he organically finds out that Santa Claus doesn't exist. So if it's a situation like that and you can omit it and it won't be that big of a deal, then cool.
I think just keeping it real in the beginning, man. You know, it just works. You know, a lot of men die before their wife. You know, because they hold a lot of stress in. One reason why I'm really open with my wife, and I feel like a lot of men should be, is like my father actually suffered from a stroke, and that's because the way I saw him growing up, 40 years of marriage, he held everything in. So he never really communicated with my mom. You know what I'm saying? And then so he held everything in. He didn't say anything. So, of course, stroke happened, heart attack. You know, but now, 10 years after the heart attack, you realize, like, wait a minute, I'm not dying. So, woman, I'm gonna let you know this is we're gonna do this. So, me coming into the marriage, I came in like, hey, look, I'm not gonna be on this bed. I'm not gonna suffer a heart attack. I'm not gonna suffer a stroke. So we're gonna do this, and this is how it's gonna be. I'm Gene. This is transparent, and this is how it's gonna work. So my suggestion to other fellas, so that because men are the ones who get the strokes, because we don't speak. So hopefully with this book, men decide that, hey, you know what? These 8 brave souls decide to speak. So I'm gonna speak. I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna read this book with my wife or my girlfriend, and it's gonna, this is how it's gonna work. This is me. So 2 things that we hope that happens with this book. One, a person reads it and sends us an email or, puts a testimony out saying, you know what, I read your book and I decided to propose to my girl. Or the woman says, you know what, my man read this book and he asked me to marry him. Right?
Or we were about to get married, but after reading this book, we realized maybe we need to pump the brakes just a bit, so we're not a divorce statistics.
Exactly.
Let us hit the books a little more, and either way.
Yeah. Or you're in a relationship and you had a feeling that it wasn't the right one, and then all of a sudden, after reading the book, you realize your true value, and you decide to leave. So either way, it's a win for us. Because we want people to the value, you know, we want people to see their value, you know, and this is not a woman bashing book, this is not a male bashing book, this is not like a tell-all, this is just men truth, being truthful. Yeah, and you've never seen married, divorced, engaged, single, divorced and remarried. One of our co-authors, DJ Fidel, Ray Holiday, Purvis Taylor, we have a life coach in the book, so he's giving the life coach perspective of on each chapter, so he's not coming into the book as a married or single or a divorced man. He's coming as a professional. So, and he gives his note, you know. So each chapter is formatted in a way where everyone can get something from it.
I just want to thank you guys just for sharing your story with us. I know that a lot of people are going to be reading your book. I know that it's going to be selling out on shelves. And I just want to thank you for your time. And I hope that, you know, this book really just, I hear #1 New York Times bestseller.
So they can get the book at singlemanmarriedman.com.
Oh, we got a website. I hear that. Come on, website.
Yeah.
So you can find the book on singlemanmarriedman.com.
Yeah, and you can follow all the authors, all 8 of us, on singlemanmarriedman.com.
I just want to say congratulations to you all once again, and much success to you on your book. And you guys are international now. I see you in London. I see you really sharing the book. So many great things going on for you. From the Taitt show to you all, we wish you nothing more than the best. And we'll continue to support you all, all right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
No,